Hey guys, what's up? We're back with another episode of Pillow Talk with D&D, and we are talking about black men. Yes, we are. So I was on social media and I saw a couple of different memes floating around. I'm just gonna read them to you real quick. One said, "Loving a man that's never been loved the proper way takes a lot of patience." Another said, "No black man is loved properly unless he got money."
Why are you reading it like that?
Because I need to put some flair. And then the other we'll post in the corner somewhere because there's a lot of cuss words and I don't really cuss. So basically,
I'm gonna read it. It says, "Shit fucked up for a black man," and then it says, "I guess these just examples of like different people in society and how they view black men." So it says, "Black women, niggas ain't shit. America, fuck niggers. Police, he's a criminal, kill him on sight. Courts, max his time. Retail stores, keep your eyes on him. Jobs, he's not qualified. Bitter baby mama, he's a deadbeat.
Oh, man.
Other black men, fuck that nigga, he ain't from my block." That's a lot.
So
that's a lot to consume.
I really thought about it, and the best way to explain this is I've always had great examples of black men. I think my husband is a great black man. I think I've cherished black men the way I should. But question, do you feel loved by black women?
I mean, yeah, I do. I don't think that there's ever been a time where, because even if you have certain instances where it's like, all right, this is a negative situation, I think it's still a case by case kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think to make a blanket statement that, black women, don't care about black men or whatever the case, I don't really agree with that, because I've been at my lowest of lows and that's the women who was there for me. You know what I'm saying? Whether it been my mom's, cousins, whoever, spouse, like I've been at my lowest of lows and that's who was there to pull me out of it. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping on their couches, freaking giving me their last $20 to go get something to eat. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I can't really relate. I don't know what certain individuals have gone through to where they feel like they can make those kind of a blanket statement. I don't know what type of people they're used to dealing with. But in my mind, though, to be able to make a blanket statement like that, it's kind of like saying, you know how they'll say to people, all right, if you always got a problem with everybody that you come in touch with or interact with, obviously the common denominator is you. I think especially for a black man to make that kind of a statement, he's not really taking the responsibility and looking inward to be like, all right, what am I doing to why everybody think I ain't shit? Like, like there's gotta be something there to where you be like, all right, you really gotta do some self-reflection, because there's no way how every black woman that you've been either in a relationship with or that you just interact with on a day-to-day basis, where you be like, oh, I got a problem with every single one of them. That just doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me.
So I'm going to give my 2 cents, which probably is a very unpopular opinion. I think that black women are very hard on black men. Now, I do think it stems from years of traumatic experience, and I'm gonna go even as far as saying,
to me, hard doesn't necessarily mean that they don't want the best for us or care about us.
Well, what I mean by that is we give, as black women, a lot of people passes that we don't give the black men. I don't think that's fair.
Like what?
Now, let me give you an example. So you will allow your homegirl to ghost you. You allow your homegirl to, tell you little white lies here or there, or, you allow your homegirl to kind of treat you any kind of way, like that's your girl, so you ride or die for her. But when it comes to your man, if he do like one thing wrong, oh, he ain't, and it's a problem, and you want to yell and fuss, and you don't yell and fuss at your homegirl. I think that our standard for how we treat black men is just rough. We automatically get really puffed up It could be because of how I was brought up. The reason I say that is because I do believe in gender roles personally, but I think that we as women come at our men at a very disrespectful way. And we don't do that to anybody else. You know what I mean? That's just what I've experienced and what I've seen because I've done it before. I've done
I don't think that that's necessarily, you know what I'm saying, against black men or whatever the case may be. I think that's more so just because of the type of relationship it is. You know, a lot of people are like that. They give their friends a lot more leeway than they would give their spouse. Not saying that it's right, but it's kind of like how I think even you and I, we kind of was going through it one time because you were like, listen, you're out, you know, day in, day out. You're a salesman. You do this, you do that. You can put on, you know what I'm saying, like this facade for everybody else. You're the happy-go-lucky kind of guy, but then when you get home, you're a different way with me. I'm getting the brunt of X, Y, Z. I think that's not because you're a black woman. That's because of our relationship. And it was my fault because I would be like, well, listen, I have to be one way. You know, I got to present myself because it's kind of leading to what that other one said about, you know, how we're viewed out in the street as me being a black man, you know. As far as my businesses are concerned, I have to make sure that I'm always the best dressed. I have to make sure that my haircut is always on point. I have to make sure that I shave. I can't walk around like how some of these white dudes walk around. Literally, I started a job a few months ago, and some of them dudes, it's been like 3 months, and this is the first time I've seen them with a haircut since we started. First time I've seen them shave since we started. And we're in like a high visibility role. And it's okay for them to do so, but not for me. You see what I'm saying? Because if I showed up not clean shaven, if I showed up, my hair looking all crazy, I ain't, you know what I'm saying, curl it up, I ain't get a shape up, nothing like that. They'd be looking at me like, so you just didn't want to get ready for work today? Exactly.
So that pressure you feel as a black man, right? You know, I'm sure black men and black women feel pressure, you know, on both sides. But today we're talking about black men. I don't want to take away from that. So the pressure you feel about having to always be the best, does that come into your relationship too? Or why are there so many black men who are the best outside of their relationship, but then they come home and then, you know, because like you said, we've had that conversation. What is the reason for that?
I'm not gonna lie, you're exhausted. And then, not saying that it's right, but by the time you get home, you are exhausted. You've been playing mental gymnastics all freaking day. And I'm sure that there is another degree to it when it comes to you being a black woman, you know what I'm saying, out and about in the world. But me, I'm 6 foot, 200 something plus pounds. Like, literally.
You're a big black dude.
Yeah, and I gotta like really, I don't even really know how to say it. Like, I have to police myself all the time.
Wow.
Day in and day out.
Wow.
I have to really pay attention to, all right, let me make sure that I'm not being offensive to this person by doing this. Let me make sure I'm not being viewed by this person as doing that. Because I don't want any type of negative connotation to be escalated. Like, literally, before we started this video, I was out front. No, matter of fact, it was even last night. Let's put this into context. Last night, I just ordered some security cameras or whatever, right? So, chilly outside. I didn't really have time to do it before the sun went down. But I said, well, you know what? I don't feel like getting up tomorrow early to do this. I'm just going to do it tonight. I'm outside. It's cold, so I got a hoodie on. I'm in front of my own house, putting up security cameras. I'm kind of like looking into my own windows, that kind of a situation. But literally in the back of my mind, all I'm saying is, let me hurry up and get this done because I don't want nobody to roll by, see me standing out here looking into my own windows and think that I'm trying to rob the place. There's very few other races that I believe would even have that thought in the back of their mind because they're like, well, shit, this is my property. This is my big ass house that I'm in front of doing work on to provide security for my own family. But literally, that's what I was thinking in the back of my head. Let me hurry up. It's dark out here. I got a hoodie on. I don't want nobody getting the wrong impression while I'm trying to get my stuff situated. That's not happening to other people. You see what I'm saying? So that's the day and age that we're living in right now, where as a black man, I have to be cognizant of every single thing that I'm doing, every single step that I'm taking to make sure that it's like you're trying to make sure that you're not offending anybody, but all you're trying to do is just live a regular day-to-day life. That sucks, but it's what we have to deal with in today's climate.
So you're mentally exhausted when you're out, by the time you get home. So are the expectations from the black woman to you, all right, well, you still got to come home and I still want you to be happy. You got to bring in the money because, as we said, one of the memes said, black men can't really be loved unless they make money. I mean, do you feel like, and I know from our experience, I've been with Dwight when he had nothing, when he had no money, no job, no nothing. And I treated him the same way I do now, where he makes more money than me, than I did, as I did, you know, when he had nothing. Now, I can't speak for all women in that regard, but what do you need from us as black women? By the time you come home, you know, I know we have these expectations. We still want you to be present, be there, but how can we, you know, I guess we've done it our way, right? But how can we express to others?
In a general sense?
Yeah.
I don't think there is a general sense. I think you have to know and understand your particular person, because what works for you and I is, like, let's say when I get home or whatever, or even when you get home, we kind of give each other our own space to really kind of decompress and assimilate our way into the household and keep the night going or whatever, like that kind of a thing. So everybody's going to kind of be different in that regard. But you have to, I think, in a general sense, you do have to have something like that, though, because there's a lot that people are dealing with day in and day out that's outside of your four walls. And if that person, it could be one or two ways. If that person chooses to come home and express all of these things to you, listen and pay attention to what they got going on. If they choose not to, and they just say, you know what, it is what it is, just give me some time to decompress, I don't really want to talk about it, you got to respect that too. It might make you feel a way because you're like, damn, you know what I mean, we're in this relationship, you're supposed to be able to tell me whatever, we're supposed to be able to talk about whatever. But sometimes in that instance or in that moment, it might be too much to talk about. It might lead to a negative conversation.
An argument.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that could have been avoided if you just gave that person that time and that space to really reintegrate into the household for that evening or whatever the case may be. So, I don't know.
It's hard to make, you know, we see these memes, we share them, but we don't understand the impact it has by sharing those type of memes, right? Black men have enough on their plate. I personally wouldn't share memes that way because I don't want them to feel less than. I don't want my husband, not that I'm not a queen in my own right, okay? But I just feel that empathy with the black man, where I feel they need to understand that you have my support. I am not going to be on these interwebs sharing things that are contrary to who you are, which is a king. And I think that when we do this, we perpetuate the stereotypes. Yeah. You know, that black men can't be in relationships, that black men have to have money to be in relationships, that black men can't walk down the street and be safe. And I'm not saying that these things aren't happening. I'm just saying that I don't think they're happening as much as we share. You know what I mean? And, you know, I am grateful for you. It hasn't always been easy trying to navigate the different schedules, you know, the pressures he feels and the pressures I feel. I think black people in general feel like they have to be the best all the time in order to get that promotion, in order to graduate. You 9%.
Just to keep the job. Not even about the damn promotion. Just to be there. It's like, nah, as far as the faces of organizations, especially out here, it's not happening. So guess what? I gotta show my ass. I gotta excel. I can't slip. Like, there's people who were literally way worse at certain jobs and things like that than I was, and I could still be like, yo, why are you even still working here? If I was doing half of the stuff that you was doing, even an inkling of it, they'd have been like, listen, man, you gotta go. This ain't working. You know? So it's like we don't really get as many chances as our counterparts. And it sucks, but it's the world that we live in. I don't know what it's gonna take to change that. It's freaking about to be 2020. We've been working in an integrated society for hundreds of years now at this point.
And it's still the same.
And it's still the same, you know? So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to change. I don't know. Like, honestly, I just don't.
Let's switch to the conversation just a little bit because I know it's getting kind of heavy, you know? Let's talk about love, right? Black men and love. Because I talked a little bit earlier about how we have this expectation that Black men really aren't good at love, right? Yeah. You know? Money is a factor in why you don't have a healthy relationship. So are you saying, because I saw an article that stated that marriages are down because men are not financially ready to get married. I didn't like it that it said men weren't financially ready to get married, because I feel like, again, we're putting that pressure on men to be the breadwinners in a household, which is nothing wrong with that. But for the majority of our relationship, I made more money than Dwight. So, which would make me the breadwinner, but it didn't make me the head of my household. So, in my opinion, you know, I guess I think if we need to strict down relationships in general. I think women are part of the problem with relationships, because we have all these standards and these checklists that we have for these men, and the way that we want, he needs to be 6'2", and he got to be chocolate, and he needs to have muscles, and you know, and these checklists are so unrealistic. He needs to be in school, or he got to be doing just as good as me, or better. You know, there are not a lot of men out here, especially Black men, to your point, who can do as well as you. Black women are the most educated on the planet right now. So if we're honest, if Black women are the most educated in the planet, and we are on the rise for the bosses of the planet, and I mean the planet, I mean the world, that's what the statistics are right now, there are not going to be many Black men who are on your level. So the pressure that we put on Black men to have these relationships is unhealthy in itself. So I think it's what we let in our eye gate, in our ear, what we live through in our community, and the pressure that we put on Black men is just unrealistic. When I was with you, you came to me with no job. Really?
I was getting money though.
Let's not talk about that. But the point is, I got into this relationship, and I knew that he was the type that would work, because it wasn't that he hadn't had jobs before. It wasn't that he was lazy. I'm not talking about those type of people. Let me be very clear.
Don't waste your time on them bum ass dudes.
Let me be very clear. I'm not talking about people who talk real good. Dwight not only talks a good game, but he walks a good game. But it was hard for him. You know, he didn't always have the best background, so he had to come up from a lot. And the type of woman I am, honestly, I didn't feel like it was hard to do. But I have to admit, I don't know that a lot of women in my position, because a lot of my friends was saying, I don't know how you're going to do that. I'm not doing it. He can't find a job. Or he got this kind of record. No. Or when he was unemployed for, what was like a year and a half? It was like a year. So you letting him do this and you letting him do that, and he's unemployed? What? First of all, I watched my husband day in and day out apply to jobs, go to places, try to do what he could do to get a job, and he just couldn't. It just didn't pan out. So it wasn't like he wasn't trying. It wasn't for lack of trying. That's what I'm trying to say. So, you know, the pressure that we put on Black men, I just think is hard. And I think Black women are part of that problem. You know, we have our issues and we kind of blame it on y'all. Y'all have y'all issues, you blame it on us, and we're both doing this. You know what I mean? In any kind of relationship, there has to be a give and take with the days you have issues, period. Both of y'all are going to have issues on the same day. Sometimes his problems are going to win out. Sometimes your problems are going to win out. I just want the conversation to change when it comes to relationships in general.
How do you think that's going to happen, though? Like, I have done everything that I could think of.
We've talked about it.
Exactly. Try to set trends to say, okay, this is what should be happening. I realize that there is an issue. I'm going to do my part to try to change things. And it's just like, there is never really enough. I see organizations that are out there, you know, led by other minorities who are just like, okay, we're going to do this for our communities. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And for some reason, nothing is changing. Like, there might be a little bit of a trickle down effect, but like I said already, it's 2020. It's about to be 2020. How much longer are we going to keep trickling? Like, when are things as a whole going to change?
What do we need to do? And I think that's the question. It's something that Dwight and I discuss, oh my God, all the time, just because it's so heavy on our hearts. Number one, we want people to see the other side of a healthy Black relationship. We want people to see that you can succeed and be successful in life. We want people, and not just people, we want Black people to see it. I mean, if we're being honest.
That's prevalent.
We want Black people.
I love all people, but like, that's not a...
The point is, I want Black people to see the other side of it. You don't have to get stuck in your small town. You don't have to get stuck in that job. You don't have to get stuck in that relationship. If things are not going well for you, right? And just to kind of bring some of this to a close, there's so many pressures that we put on ourselves in our own community, right? So let's try this. Let's try changing the narrative, one conversation at a time. When someone brings up something negative about Black people, say something positive. Don't get upset. Don't get angry. Answer a negative with a positive. Yeah. Be the positive. If you see that your Black man or your Black woman, I'm going to loop them in now, is having a hard time, you see a negative, be the positive. Is it always easy being that positive? No. But if you keep doing it, it becomes habitual, and that becomes a lifestyle. And when you do good things, when you reflect positivity, you get positivity. Things will start changing for you. Things in your life will start going better, moving in a more positive direction. Does it happen immediately? No, not all the time. All of this takes time. Change takes time. But I do believe that we can be more supportive of our Black men, even as Black women. I encourage you not to share videos that
just put a spotlight on negativity.
On negativity, especially in the Black community. I encourage you.
And keep your arguments offline, yo. That shit is
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out. It just jumped in my mind. Like, keep that offline, man.
That arguing online is not helpful. Go see a therapist. Go see your pastor, whoever, your mentor, whatever. You know, talk it out, but don't air your stuff out online. Again, it sheds a bad light on who we are, and it makes not just you look bad, but it's a bad reflection on all of us. On all of us. Yeah. You know? My mama used to say, don't you get out this house embarrassing me, because what I did reflected on her. And it's like that. I feel like that when I go out and I see other Black people and we do that little head nod, because we are a reflection of each other. Right. You know what I mean?
I know that head nod.
You know?
I know that.
So just try to be, you know, this was really because I had saw so many people sharing these memes. And I'm talking about they kept reposting them and reposting them. And I felt bad because the Black men in my life are not like that. And they didn't need money to be loved. The Black women in their lives love them for them.
I done been broke, boy. Broke. Like, broke. Yeah. And I done had shorties. So that don't mean nothing. You can be broke. They gonna love you if you got it.
So let me shed some light.
They gonna love you.
Let me give you a little insight on that.
But yeah.
I ain't gonna keep loving you if you keep being broke. You know, you gotta have people on your level.
Some potential or something. You know what I'm
saying?
You can't just want to be a bum and then think that everybody's supposed to just gonna be cool with that. Nah.
So women, check your checklist at the door. Yeah. If he jumps in your DM and he does it respectfully, check him out. What's wrong with that? If it's done respectfully. It's a new age. You got to get with it or you're going to get left. Period. Oh, he hates when I say that. Period. Well, that's our conversation for today about black men. You know, give us your thoughts. Leave comments like y'all do. We love when you leave us your comments and how you feel. Tell us how you feel as a black man. What could we do better? You know, as black women, as a community, from man to man. Tell us what we could be doing better to help assist in the exhaustion that these black men feel from day to day.
And don't be leaving no comments like you going through it because ain't nobody trying to give you, ain't trying to turn $50 to $500. Ain't nobody dealing with that. Ain't nobody for the scams. We not supporting them type of black dudes. We talking about positivity.
I'm supporting all black dudes.
I ain't supporting you if you trying to scam nothing. Go get a job. Like, go get a job, yo. So, right. You got anything else to say?
No, this is Pillow Talk with D&E, and I love my black man.
Word.
And all black men.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week.